If Donald Trump doesn't stop violating the judge's gag order in the historic hush money trial in New York City, he's going to jail. That was a threat today from Judge Juan Merchan, but the threat may not have the intended effect. Trump has essentially dared the judge to lock him up, saying it would be, quote, a great honor to be sent to jail by Judge Juan Merchan, who he calls a partisan hack. Judge Merchan started today's trial by finding Trump in contempt for 9 gag order violations, fining the former president $1,000 for each one. Trump's team has already deleted most of the offending posts from Truth Social and his website. One of them quoted a Fox News commentator calling the jurors, quote, undercover liberal activists. Trump's campaign wasted no time capitalizing on the ruling. A fundraising email to supporters called out the, quote, Democrat judge, warning in all caps, they want to silence me and bleed me dry. Meanwhile, the man who helped negotiate the hush money payment at the center of this whole case took the stand today. Remember, Trump is accused of falsifying business records to hide a $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels back in 2016. All with the intent of helping himself win the election. Keith Davidson was the attorney for Stormy Daniels at the time. And today, he walked jurors through his dealings with Trump's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, a man he says nobody wanted to deal with. He talked about how he had to hound Cohen for the settlement money. Davidson also testified that pseudonyms were used in the settlement. Daniels was known as Peggy Peterson. Trump was known as David Dennison. Lots of alliteration there. I want to bring in our legal panel now with more on today's developments, and we're going to use our real names. I'm joined by President George W. Bush's former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree, and Dave Aronberg is the state attorney for Palm Beach County in Florida. Thank you both for being here and for going by your real names. Dave, let's start with the gag order fines. $9 grand. Another hearing for 4 more violations is scheduled for Thursday morning, and a stark warning from the judge today that if Trump keeps it up, he could really go to jail. Do you really think the judge would do that?
Unlikely, Elizabeth. These judges don't want to appear political in this heightened partisan environment, and so they've been treating Trump with kid gloves. Really, they've been fining him, a billionaire, $1,000 here, $1,000 there. Remember, Judge Ngorone in the other trial only fined him $15,000 for 2 violations of the gag order there. So no, I do not expect Trump to be wearing an orange jumpsuit anytime soon. Now, that could change if Trump does something, says something so inflammatory that it leads to violence against a witness or someone covered by the gag order. But I think that as long as he continues to do this, he's going to be allowed to. Especially, I think he'll give him a lot of grace to attack Michael Cohen, even though Michael Cohen is a key witness, because Cohen is giving back as much as he's getting. And I think he's going to just step back and just keep allowing this like the judiciary has up to this point.
Yeah, well, although Cohen last week said he will stop now tweeting about the president and launching insults and lobbing all sorts of awful, comments his direction. So that at least has come to a stop. Tom, former President Trump did tweet a short time ago that the judge has taken away my constitutional right to free speech. I am the only candidate in history to be gagged. It's worth pointing out he's also the only candidate in history to be on trial in a criminal court as well. This gag order is in place to protect jurors and witnesses in the trial, right?
That's right. The gag order is really the judge's way of trying to maintain the integrity of the trial and ensure that, well, the judge himself, but more important, witnesses, jurors, and the like aren't threatened. And look, at the beginning of this case, I would have said the odds of President Trump being put in jail for violating the gag order were, close to 0%. But I think the judge's order today increases the odds a bit because he was very specific and said, basically, if Trump doesn't knock it off, he is going to have to incarcerate him. And look, being incarcerated for violating a gag order is not like he's going to get sent for, 10 months to Rikers. I think he probably would get sent down the hall to a holding cell for an hour until he had calmed down. But the fact that the judge had to make that threat, I think, does put him in a difficult spot because now he has to carry through and follow through on that. if Trump continues to talk in a way that violates the gag.
Yeah, once you say the threat, you kind of have to follow through on it. And by the way, what you're describing sounds more like a timeout than jail time. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.